At the beginning, we meet Goreng, who wakes up in a concrete cell with the number 48 painted on the wall. He is in a prison called Vertical Self-Management Center. His cell only has a bed and a faucet and a hole in the center of the floor. There must also be a toilet to do his business, although the film doesn't show it. His cellmate Trimagasi nicknames it the Pit. There are hundreds of floors identical to theirs, each with 2 inmates who use fake names given by the administration. Food descends on a platform through the hole every day, and they have 2 minutes to eat as much as they can before it descends to the floor below. Those on the lower floors have less opportunity to eat anything. Every month, the inmates are switched and sent to other floors. The first time Goreng sees the platform, he chooses not to eat because he's disgusted and leaves the food for the lower floors. Trimagasi, after gorging himself on food, spits on the plate, aware that those above do the same. Goreng decides to save a piece of apple for later, but when the platform leaves, the cell gets very hot. He discovers that keeping food is forbidden, so Goreng needs to throw away the apple or they'll burn to death. This leads Goreng to remember the interview he had before entering there when he signed a document agreeing that he couldn't leave until the end of the established period. Hey, the movie I'm going to summarize is called The Platform. The movie is a mix of horror, science fiction, and suspense. It's a very good movie that keeps you hooked from beginning to end. I remember that when it was released, various people were making various theories about the ending. That's why I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate the bell to receive the best summaries. Each inmate can bring one object with them, and Goreng chose to bring an edition of Don Quixote. Goreng signed up voluntarily and will stay for half a year in exchange for a valid certificate. The next day, Goreng refuses to eat again when the platform arrives, and Trimagasi thinks he's wasting floor 48. Trimagasi tells Goreng how his life changed because of a TV commercial. He acquired an incredible knife that appeared on television, but soon after, another commercial announced an even better knife. This made him lose his mind and throw the TV out the window, hitting a man who was walking, and the man died. Trimagasi could choose between an asylum and the pit and ended up here. He had been on floor 132, and because of that, he's sure there are more floors, as he could see them below. The food doesn't reach the lower floors, and spending a month there isn't the worst. The difficult part is when you stay on the lower floors for 2 consecutive months. Trimagasi has been in the pit for 8 months, and only has 2 left to go. Goreng panics about this and tries to talk to people on other floors, asking them to save food, but no one listens to him. Trimagasi urinates to the floor below, and also shows that the object he brought with him is the knife he acquired on television. When the platform descends again, Goreng finally eats. He also observes a person from the upper floors falling through the pit, and Trimagasi states that this is very frequent. But nobody cares. Trimagasi tells Goreng about all the floors he's been through and says they'll stay together next month. Goreng notices that cellmates are kept together when they are reorganized, and finally understands that Trimagasi devoured his previous cellmate when he was on the lower floors. Because it's a matter of logic. If food doesn't reach there, how did he spend a month without eating? When the platform descends once more, Miharu is sitting on it. Goreng worries about her because he notices she's hurt, but Trimagasi tells him to forget about her. Every month, Miharu enters the platform to search for her missing son. She also eliminates any cellmate she has to increase her chances of finding her son next month. The man they saw fall must have been her partner. Trimagasi tells that, unlike her, he didn't murder anyone. He just fed on the corpse that descended to his cell. When the platform descends one more floor, the inmates want to abuse Miharu. Goreng asks them to stop, but it doesn't make a difference. Miharu simply exterminates them and returns to the platform. When the month ends, the inmates are sedated with gas and moved to different places. When Goreng wakes up, he is tied to his bed on level 171. Trimagasi says he tied him up because he is younger and stronger, so Trimagasi has to defend himself. He said that after a week, he would cut off a piece because food doesn't arrive and he needs to eat, and he would do everything not to cut off vital parts so Goreng could survive. Screams are heard from other levels, showing that people are dealing with their new situations, and when the platform arrives, nothing is left to eat. After a week and a day, Trimagazi declares that the time has come for him to satisfy his hunger. He doesn't care about Goreng's pleas for mercy and cuts a piece of flesh from his leg with his knife. But before he can taste it, the platform appears, bringing Miharu along. Miharu recognizes how much Goreng cared for her and jumps on Trimagazi, stabbing him with his own knife. Soon after, she releases Goreng and passes him the knife so he can finish off Trimagazi. Goreng loses consciousness afterward and wakes up later in bed. Miharu bandaged his leg with a piece of fabric and is now devouring Trimagazi. She offers some meat to Goreng, who accepts after some reluctance. She also gives him water before leaving on the platform without saying anything. The days go by, and Trimagazi's corpse begins to decompose, giving Goreng the opportunity to also feed on maggots. Goreng starts having visions, seeing Trimagazi's ghost condemning him while he feeds. At the end of the month, gas invades the cell, and Goreng deliriously thinks he's with a woman again, under Miharu's gaze. When he wakes up, he realizes that who's licking him is a dog. To Goreng's surprise, his new cellmate is Imogiri, the woman who conducted his interview when he applied to enter this prison. The dog is the object she chose to bring with her, and now they are on level 33. Goreng remembers the day of the interview and how Imogiri made strange pauses between questions. In the present, Imogiri clarifies that she volunteered just like Goreng and that she had no knowledge that people died here. According to what she knows, there are 200 levels, and when Goreng explains that there isn't enough food for everyone here, Imogiri emphasizes that the amount of food would be adequate if people ate only what was necessary. Goreng doesn't believe that solidarity can arise naturally among people. He says that one has to be very clueless to bring a dachshund, that it's more sausage than dog. He questions if the death of a minor could cause a change, but Imogiri states that the company prohibits the entry of people under 16 years old. When the platform arrives, Imogiri eats what is sufficient and shares some with her dog, then separates 2 portions of food. Imogiri tries to talk to the prisoners on the floor below, asking them to eat the portions she separated and do the same for the next floor, passing the idea forward. But no one listens to her, and Goreng says that the administration has no interest in solidarity. I'll ask you a difficult question. Would you do what Imogiri asked? Would you eat what she separated on the plate? Or would you not give a damn and eat whatever you wanted to eat? Write in the comments. Goreng thinks the administration is all bad, but Imogiri disagrees because she was an employee of theirs and had no problems. Goreng says that this was an advantage for her because she could choose who to share the cell with. Imogiri insists on trying to divide the food fairly every day, but no one from the lower levels cares about her. After 14 days, Goreng loses patience with her screams and warns people that if they don't obey Imogiri, he will pee and poop in the food every day and they'll have to eat shit. The warning takes effect and the prisoners start passing the guidelines to the lower levels. Later, the platform arrives with Miharu unconscious. Goreng and Imogiri lay her on a bed and take care of her, while the dog takes some food. After the platform leaves, the cold in the cell becomes unbearable, and Goreng needs to chase after the dog to get back the food it took. Otherwise, they would be killed by hypothermia. At night, Goreng gives the bed to Miharu and lies on the floor, but wakes up with the girls fighting. Miharu had killed the dog to feed on it. The next day, Miharu leaves on the platform. Goreng tells Imogiri about Miharu's search for her son, but Imogiri says that Miharu arrived alone 10 months ago. She was an actress with no relatives who volunteered to come, just like Goreng. Imogiri sent people here without having any idea how bad it was, and she has been facing cancer for 3 years. When she found out there was no cure, she volunteered to come because she thought she could change something, but she no longer cares. On her last day at level 33, Goreng tries to convince Imogiri to eat, as they might be without food the next day, but Imogiri is too weak to get out of bed. When he wakes up, Goreng is surprised to see that he's on level 202, which indicates that there are more floors than Imogiri knew about. This discovery was more than Imogiri could handle, and she used sheets to end her life. At that moment, Trimagazi's vision appears again, asking if Goreng will devour his new friend. Now he has the company of Imogiri, who states that he should eat her corpse. Goreng does everything to not listen to his constant delusions and tries to distract himself with other things. He tricks his hunger by eating pages from his book and uses a piece of plate to mark the days on the wall. Finally, the hunger becomes unbearable, and Goreng finally begins to feed on Imogiri, while Trimagasi instructs him on where to cut. After some time, there's another level change, and Goreng is happy to see that he's on the 6th floor. He sees Miharu on the other bed, who runs at him with a knife, but it's just a nightmare. Goreng's real companion is Baharat, who brought a rope as his object. Baharat is full of hope because he thinks he can climb to the top of the pit, and he asks for help from those on level 5. The two above laugh at him before accepting the rope, but when Baharat climbs up, the other inmate takes off her clothes and poops on Baharat's face. Frightened and disgusted, Baharat lets go of the rope and falls. Goreng catches him in time, but the rope goes down the hole. When the platform comes, they have to eat while listening to those on level 5 being intimate. As time passes, the visions of Trimagasi and Imogiri return. Trimagasi says that Goreng is doing well because there's only 1 month left, and Imogiri warns that change never comes for free. Goreng feels motivated to create a strategy, and he requests Baharat's support. They need to jump on the platform with any object that can serve as a weapon and make people save food so that everyone has something to eat. Goreng did the calculations when he was on level 202, and estimating by the time the platform takes to move, he thinks there are approximately 250 levels, which should be feasible. Baharat agrees to collaborate, and they destroy a bed to use metal parts as weapons. The two jump on the platform and reach level 7, where Goreng emphasizes that they must not let prisoners take anything. These people ate yesterday and will certainly eat tomorrow, so they should only start sharing food after level 50, which are the people with difficulties. Baharat is in doubt because he knows these prisoners who helped him climb a few weeks ago, but when the older man becomes enraged, Baharat understands Goreng's reason, eliminating the man right away. They continue descending and intimidating people so they don't touch the food. After a few floors, Baharat is surprised to find Brambang, a wise elder whom Baharat admires. Brambang praises what the boys are trying to do, but emphasizes that the administration has no sensitivity and won't care about the result. But maybe the employees at level 0 will care, so they need a symbol. Baharat and Goreng opt for the panna cotta because it's a very sophisticated delicacy and will cause a great impact if it arrives intact at the bottom. The mission continues as they descend, protecting the panna cotta and repelling people with threats. Upon reaching level 50, Baharat and Goreng begin to distribute portions of food, and people are very grateful. They reach the 97th floor and see a sick elder and a boy with mental problems. Goreng offers soup to the elder, but the boy warns that it's no use, as he will open up the old man later to eat what the old man ate. On the next floor, there's only a corpse, and Goreng concludes that was where Miharu woke up. The platform moves forward without stopping, as there's no one alive there, which reveals that Goreng was wrong in his calculations, and there are more than 250 floors. On the floor below, they find 2 men assaulting Miharu. One of them wields a sword, and the other is strong and burly, so it's very difficult for Goreng and Baharat to protect the woman when they jump to help her. Baharat takes a sword hit, but defeats his opponent first, and then helps Goreng eliminate the strong man. But unfortunately, Miharu has already lost her life. Goreng wants to cry for her, but Baharat drags him back to the platform before they get left behind. As they descend, they offer food to those who are trapped in the levels, but find many dead along the way. The platform finally stops at level 333, which seems to be the bottom. They think there's no one there, but they discover a person hiding under the bed. Mali, the girl that Miharu was looking for. They approach the girl, but the platform descends again as soon as they get off it. Goreng wants Baharat to throw the panna cotta down the hole, but Baharat doesn't agree. They are surprised when they are not punished with heat or cold, and after thinking a lot, Baharat gives the panna cotta to Mali. They remain at that level, and Goreng still sees the images of Trimagasi, Imogiri, and Miharu, saying that the girl is the message. Without warning, Baharat agrees with the specters, telling Goreng that the girl is the message, and upon waking up, Goreng realizes that Baharat has died from his injuries. When the platform descends again, Goreng takes Mali with him, and they are taken to level 0, which is completely dark and empty. Trimagasi appears to tell Goreng to get off the platform because he doesn't belong to the message, and together they watch the platform rise with Molly, hoping that she will reveal to the oppressors above the reality of the situation. Hey, what do you think about the movie? Comment your opinion. The movie is all interpretive. So that's it. Leave that like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive the best summaries.